Okay, this will be a trade recap for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. So, the main thing I was watching today was pretty similar to yesterday. I was watching for a break above the 6070, 6075 key level to hold for upside into the 6090, 6100 area. Opened the day pretty balanced, choppy. I kind of sat through all this, waited for the break. We got this break, and I waited for an aggressive retest, which we got right here at 1018. Uh, got this aggressive pullback into the level, and I got long here at 6075.25 at 1019. So right in here when this buying came in after this aggressive sell-off. Um, got a little bit of run up. Uh, didn't stop out on that pullback. Got a little bit more run up and then eventually stopped down on this move. And then I tried one more entry at 1036 right here. Got stopped out by 1042. And for that trade, the confirmation, I have a screenshot. We had a bit of a low volume node right here at this 6075, 6070 key level. So we retested that. And looking at the book map, we got an aggressive pullback into that level. I saw buying coming out of that enough to for me to try this entry one more time. I unfortunately got stopped out on that. Now the play is kind of looking like it might play out, finding some support a little bit lower at VWAP. If it does play out, great. I really planned for price to be supported here in this gray zone, not a little bit lower where it could be happening, and that's okay. The market's not going to do what you want it to do. You just have to react and manage risk accordingly when there's opportunity, and if you lose, you got to handle it. So currently what I'm watching for is if this strength is continued, I am still slightly bullish. I want to look for ways to long into this 6090, 6100. But yeah, I need to see a little bit more development for a possible play. It's very likely I won't get one. This overall, this tape is, or this market is very slow moving today. We're in the 20-point range, almost 2 hours in the market open. So, and the volume and volatility is not very high. The volume's pretty much died off, and it wasn't even that high on these spikes earlier in the day anyway. So we'll see. That's probably it. 0 for 2, down about 8.5 points. It is what it is. Got to move on. All right, peace. Okay, another update for Tuesday, June 17th. So I ended up going to the bathroom right after I made that last recap, and then price did end up breaking high of day and getting this aggressive pullback. When I got back on, price had already started to rally off of this pullback and then was now pulling back again. And I kind of got a lot of FOMO here. I saw it price starting to rally after the pullback, and I started thinking, okay, this is going to rally out of here, out of this previous key level, so I get long, stop out. And then I allowed that loss to cause me to take another long, which I quickly stopped out on as well. And that first trade I took wasn't terrible. The only thing I will say is it's not, at this point in the day, it's not really a key level, and there wasn't really good volume confirmation, no low volume, no delta at this inner level right here, really telling me that it was still valid. So now I'm kind of mad after that. I took two losses that I really didn't need to take, especially one of them. I would have been somewhat okay with just that first one. But I move on. And I'm still kind of thinking that the market wants to continue upwards because we have broken above this high. Uh, it's just a matter of where price is going to hold. And I noticed that it's actually a much better area to look to hold down here, where the market is kind of making a balance, a lower time frame balance, especially with these rejections up here. So now we're dropping into this level, and I'm looking for longs. So still, I would definitely say somewhat emotional after being patient all day, taking those two good losses, and kind of throwing that away with what I did in here. However, I still got good confirmation, took the trade. I'm not going to show the confirmation for this stuff because it really wasn't there. It wasn't good, and that in itself is a reason to that it wasn't a valid trade. But I got this first entry at 11:30. Can kind of see this bid holding this aggressive sell-off and buying coming off of that. And I tried along there, which got stopped out. And then at this point, I'm saying, all right, price is probably going to keep selling off and rejecting. So at this point, when I stopped out of this for my fifth loss of the day, I was then looking for shorts. However, this break of this balance low, this lower time frame balance low, never gained much momentum. You can see this aggressive break right into this bid. Price recovers a bit, then more selling comes in, aggressive selling into this bid gets absorbed. Another aggressive sell-off attempt right here gets absorbed, and to me, this is a sign of trapped sellers. And I actually get in after this. This just added to my confirmation and confidence. But this aggressive sell-off, and then these sellers attempting to push lower and really dying out down here at the bid, getting absorbed, that shows me sellers are putting in effort to break below this low, but they're not getting rewarded. And in a lower time frame balance, a failed break is very likely, especially when my original bias was on the higher time frame, more bullish, and I was looking for breakouts and holds of this 6070, 6075 level to hold for upside. So all that together made this a really good setup. And what also was so good about the setup is I was looking for shorts originally, but based on this break and what the tape showed me, I switched my bias back and tried one more long, knowing that if this low did break, then the thesis is gone there. It's not going to happen. But I trust my stop loss below there to get in long, even after all that heat taken, after all those losses I've taken today. I trusted that setup, and then eventually got some aggressive buying, retested, and it's been choppy. It still is choppy. We're still in this balance. Haven't broken the highs yet, and you can see on this entry I've scaled out first here at 2R. Then once we really get into this lower time frame balance, I'm looking to get out, just take off risk, just scale out a little bit of my position up here at these recent highs. That's what I've been doing, and then on these breaks, getting out a little bit more. And currently I'm just in one runner, looking for still that possible break of hive day into 6090, 6100. But I do want to show this as well. Forgot to show it earlier on my trades. There's that first trade, 3.75 point loss. Here's the second, 4.5 point loss. Said that right, just sounded weird. 4-point loss there. 3-point loss. 3.5, and this win will probably average out not that high, probably about 7.5 to 8.5 points. But yeah, I'm fine with how I traded these two setups. Good losses. This kind of pisses me off still. Got in my own way here, and now I'm gonna have to. Now I'm gonna have to make up some money that I didn't need to lose. That's the end game there. But good thing is I recovered. Didn't let that affect how I traded this setup. Took a loss there. Was flipping my bias, but then got really good tape confirmation that we were going to reverse and test these highs, which is exactly what happened. You can see this level right above my entry has been holding nice. This was a crazy sell-off on, I don't know if news happened or something, but I thought on this sell-off for sure I was going to get stopped out at break even on my runners, but it did hold, and it's holding so far. And honestly, I'll probably look to trail this stop loss soon. I need to get off of the markets. It's been a long day. Again, I'm kind of fuming over this. Just shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't break my rules like that and let myself take those. And the P&L is gonna show for it. Gonna be right on the day when. Could have been probably break even, honestly, or just slightly red. But yeah, you gotta learn from it and get better. Get 1% better each day. The market's always gonna test you, and you gotta persevere and view it as a test, and try to pass that test. And if you don't, it's okay. Don't let it cause you to lose control. You gotta regain that. Regain that mindfulness, regain your calmness and focus, and see what the market is telling you. And if it's giving you opportunity, throw away what has just happened and follow your plan, follow your rules, follow your system. And that's all you can do at the end of the day. All right, peace. Okay, this will be the final recap for Tuesday, June 17th. So I ended up stopping out of that final trade right here on my runner. And then the market really started to move, and I was kind of watching for a break and retest of this lower time frame balance low into this next level, which was just a key level from the pre-market that I was originally watching for a break and retest into this level when the market was still consolidating in this range this morning. But now I was kind of using that level as a target for if the market could break and retest this lower time frame balance low. And then I'm still kind of looking for, I'm mostly out of this position, but on my runner, I'm still kind of looking for that break and retest of this level into this level. Anyways, we broke this balance low. I missed this entry, which gave me a little bit of FOMO. But I fought it off and waited for another good entry. Part of me wanted to enter here and here, but I waited for an actual test of this zone. Price started to reject. I'll get my entry pulled up here. I got in at 104. So you can see aggressive rally back into that previous balance low. Buying slows down and some selling starts to come in, and that's where I get short at the 63s. Right about here. Get that initial pop down. I scaled out just a single contract down right near the low of day just to reduce risk. Because if you're looking at it, we are pretty much in balanced conditions today. Even though we're not in like a tight range on the day, there's kind of a range here and then a range there. Price overall is still acting very balanced, going up and down and choppy. So, and as you can see, after I got out, it reversed, and this likely could have fully reversed back to high of day. So that's the reason I scale out there. I hold my stop on this retest. And then here, when low of day breaks, I get out a good portion of my position. Let's see. I'm currently in 2 lots left. I'm actually probably going to get out one here. Just on that new low of day break. That wasn't as good of a scale as I wanted, but when price is only moving by a few points, it's gonna happen, All right, so this now I'm currently waiting in. Gonna keep that stop. Probably gonna reduce that to just below break even, and then I'm holding this at my final target. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna let this one play out. Price is moving pretty slow, but I can see um, this definitely pushing at least into the 50s and then into the 44s. And I've got my limit order at the 51s, just kind of right before this level. So we'll see if that hits. Um, but yeah, good way to start the day off. Started the day off strong despite losing. Had a little uh, lapse, recovered, and then had another solid trade to end the day. So can't complain about that. Gonna come back tomorrow, try to get 1% better, not slip up. I'd be green today if I didn't slip up on that two trades, but it is what it is. Out of my control now. The only thing that's in my control is how I learn from today and how I approach the market tomorrow. So that's all. Peace.